Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about SHRM certification. So last week we talked about getting your presentation certified so you can get your presentation in front of attorneys, anyone in the legal industry that has to do continuing legal education. SHRM is a little bit different. So what I have up here on my page, and I'm going to share this link with you. I have to move my little screen around here. I'll just put this in chat so everybody has it. But this is the part of the SHRM site where you can learn more about getting your presentation certified. Now, SHRM works a little bit differently, where the Florida Bar or the Bar Association, you have to go by the state requirements. With SHRM, you can actually do it in one sitting, and you can get to kind of give you a basis of the fees. And this page will give you all of the information. This is actually where you're going to apply. You just click on the Apply Now button. I recommend, because logistically, because you're not an actual provider, like meaning you have hundreds of classes for SHRM executives to take, I recommend doing their lowest program, which is a total of $400. And that, I think, covers you for 2 years, and you can, that certifies up to 12 classes, I believe. So I would tell you to try to maximize that. I'm going to review how SHRM does their certification and how they count credits for people. But for everyone who is watching or even watching the recording and you're not familiar with SHRM, so SHRM is basically the association here in the United States for HR executives. So anybody who does hiring, firing, managing employees, works in the HR department are typically members of SHRM. SHRM also provides continuing education credits, where they can get certified through SHRM. And then they also have so many credits that they'll have them do throughout the year. The credits are different for HR people. They're not done by different divisions, like the Bar Association, for example, will have general credits, ethics credits, professionalism credits. These are just all general. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through here really quick. Like here it is, the bronze program is what I've been telling everybody. It's a 2-year cycle and it's $400. You can certify up to 10 classes. And I would recommend, if you do this, have 10 that you're consistently adding to, have up to 10, because, why not? You may have a couple of classes that HR executives would like to do, or even private company training where, you can add to it. So that would be my recommendation. The one conference per cycle, don't do that, because that's really only if you were going to go speak at a SHRM event. And typically the SHRM chapters, state and local, have no money to pay, so it's not even worth doing. But the one conference per cycle is to go and speak at one of their events and have it where they get continuing education credit. It goes over what the processing fees are and so forth. You do get listed on their site as well as an education provider, which is nice. So here's all of the different things. Activity alignment, what they call PDCs, which is the credits that a SHRM executive has to, or a SHRM member has to keep up with. There's all sorts of different categories here. So business acumen, if you click on that, it's going to kind of give you an idea of what they're talking about with business acumen, which could be operations, HR strategy, critical evaluation, HR expertise, leadership and navigation, relationship management. Hint, hint for both of you. That would be the one that I would hit if I were you. So it gives you an idea of what they're looking for and what the requirements are going to be. If you ever have additional questions, you want to reach out to SHRM directly. I personally do not have anything certified yet through SHRM, but I'm working on that. But they have an email where you can email them, or you could actually pick up the phone and call and get a quicker answer. But they walk you through what to do. You just click on the Apply Now site. The other thing I pulled up for you is the actual provider recertification providers. It's a program guide. It's about 8 pages long. It's a PDF. And I'm going to put this in chat too, so you have it. but you'll want to print this out or run through it online, either one. But it's going to give you an idea of what, what they're looking for. I'm going to try to move my little screen thing. It's just a basic introduction. They tell you what their body, they call it BOC, which is Body of Competency and Knowledge. And that's how they are ensuring that SHRM executives are certified. So these are some of the benefits. Obviously, there's a searchable database as well that you're in once you sign up, should you choose to do that. So again, just some general information here. I would stay away from anything where, again, it's just for a conference. I don't think that's worth it because typically they have no money to pay, or if they do, it's very little. So it wouldn't be worth it. Again, I would suggest the bronze level, 1 to 10 programs. Even if you only have 1 or 2 that you have certified, you could always add to it later. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And here's like the registration. It walks you through what to do, where you need to send in your information. You are going to have to submit an example of an existing program, for HR, gearing it towards HR, the verbiage, which a lot of times we have to do this anyway for a specific conference. So you have to do all of this. And it says here it takes up to 15 business days. So if you want to start doing this, by next year, I recommend getting a move on it now, simply because if you start adding to it, it could take up to 15 days for them to approve each course that you have. So the program guidelines, this shows you how time is calculated for their PVC credit. So it's calculated in 15-minute increments, which I think is a little weird, but that's just how they do it. So 1 hour would actually be one full credit, but they do it by 15-minute increments. So it comes out to 0.25. So the goal would be, like for private company training, if you were to go in and work with an HR department, to do a 4-hour, that would be 4 hours if you have a 4-hour class or a 4-hour training gig. Okay. Same thing too if you did this virtual, 4 hours, and allotting for break times and so forth. You want to make sure that they do it in 15-minute increments. So if you run over 15 minutes, it could be 4.25 credit hours for them. So it gives you some really good information here. The renewal process as well is every 2 years. So clearly, if this is working for you and SHRM and HR executives are a great fit, or even if you just had 1 class, then obviously you have to remit. This is how you do your renewal, what they're expecting from you. Should you decide to, continue to offer that. Compliance and verification, they kind of go over record keeping here. Denial and termination of status. So you just want to make sure that you're doing everything exactly as they want it. If you're unsure, they are the people to ask, not me. So you definitely want to make sure that you are, asking all questions and getting that directly from SHRM. Legal restrictions, you can read through that. That's really more for like overseas, which I don't think, SHRM, I think, HRPA is Canada's version of SHRM, which they have different record keeping. So nobody here is really overseas, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Again, acceptable topics, consultation, relationship management, and they kind of give you a really good overview of what they're looking for in each department as well. Basic HR knowledge of what they need to have in general. Again, you don't have to hit all of these, but these are things, keep in mind, just like with the legal side, this is verbiage that you can use in your presentation and in your topic summary, 3 to 5 takeaways to help ensure that you get approved and you get maximum credit for the people who attend. So again, that's 8 pages. There's also different provider resources on here if you want to learn more about it. And there's like a checklist. They actually have a checklist here too. I think I looked at that. That one was pretty cool. Most of these are, so again, you can kind of go down, like if your topic is relating to leadership and navigation, you can just check off all the boxes, making sure that you have included all of this to ensure that you are going to be approved. And they have one for each each one. Talent acquisition, employee engagement and retention, again, learning and development. These are all things that both, Catherine and Matt, that you could really hit on. I think even total rewards might be a good thing for you too, Matt. Workforce management, employee labor relations. Catherine, I think that's right up your alley with one of your presentations that you have. But again, if you're going to do this, you have the ability to certify, I think it was up to 12 classes in the bronze level. Why not create more content for them and have that available? That way the HR executive can pick and choose. Now, once you have this done, what should you do with it? There's a couple of things. Number one, you can reach out to different SHRM chapters and let them know, hey, my presentation is certified. My personal thing with that is that you could do a presentation for them that's not certified, because again, you're probably not going to get paid on the local and state level. With SHRM, and even in the national level, there's a lot of times that it's very, very low pay. But the people in the audience, the companies that are there, the HR executives, those companies have budgets to bring you in. They usually will have more than one HR person. So what you can do is you can say, look, here's private training opportunities. Call into the HR department. Hey, I have a presentation, or actually not presentation, I have training for the HR department. We're actually certified with SHRM. You can get 4.25 credits for this, in addition to, being able to, and then just kind of go in about your presentation, about why it's beneficial, how it's going to help them. The continuing education credits, regardless of the industry, it really needs to be icing on the cake, where it's kind of like a no-brainer to bring you in. With some of these, you could even say, if they only have 4 people in their HR department, if you want to do it where you're charging by the hour, or you want to charge per person, whatever you feel would work for you. Now, if you have another company that's like, look, it's just me, I would recommend to everyone, the presentations that you have, you need to also be doing these virtually. SHRM will also allow you to as long as it's instructor led, it can still be virtual. So have a couple of dates on your calendar where you can say, look, this is not a problem if you can't afford it, or it's just you. I have 2 dates coming up where you can actually do this class online. It's still 4 hours. We take a break. It's on Zoom. Here are the details, and this is what I'm charging. Whether that's $400 per person or $500, whatever you choose to set there. And that's going to be an additional way for you to bring in income as well, and for them to get their certification. So have different options. Don't be a one, I got to be there in person and this is what I got to do. Have some different options for them. Because again, with HR, it could be that there's only one person, it could be a group of 5 or 10, it may only be 4 or 5 people, or they feel like, hey, let's bring this person in, we're going to get continuing ed, but this could also work for other parts of our company too. But have different options available for them. But I'll put this box checklist here in the chat as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop recording as well. And I can take questions. Share.